Hello and welcome back again. We've had a series of issues with the internet, and I hope this one won't have much of an impact. So let's continue from where we left. I was looking for a way to map the relationships so that we have a proper way of and it's what I was exploring here. Relations. Okay, so So we have these relationships. User, okay. Post as an author, which is one. We have fields. Okay. So what we say is post has many comments, and in the comments, so now, okay, where we have the foreign keys, so now we define the relation. The internet today is really bad. So we'll have user has many tokens. And user has many login sessions. Okay. So then the token table has so then we have a token table. The owner of the token is the user ID, and it references the user table.id. So this is I think this is well mapped out. In the login session, then you can just export login session relations. We'll import relations from Drizzle. Then login session table has one user table, and the field is login session table user ID pointing. Then we reference the user table ID. I think that's it. What is missing out here? This one points there. Then we need an extra bracket. Okay. So that is done with the relations. Once this is in place, now we can just test and see. We have our DB instance. So in the DB, we have the index. So can just test this from our client in the controllers. Try and get const users is equals to db dot okay, client. Okay, we're not using client, so let me see what we use. Querying resolve schema db.query.users. db.query dot okay. Select what do we select? So Okay. So how do you get started? From let me just see how we get started on this. Let me see, tutorial guides. Database connection. Let me see. How do we build it? See, schema. What needs to be passed here? From string. Can we pass schema? Okay, so in our schema, I need index.ts. Then we export stuff from login session. Export stuff from okay. It's all. With that, we can import star schema from schema. Then we pass we can pass schema just like that. If that will do. Then now if we go to our client, then dot query. Okay, so now we can get our tables with this. And query the user table dot get all find many. Okay. So then we can just return users. Auto fixable. Control B to clear that out. Then now we need to await So if we go to let me see what we'll have. So yes, so you can see we have users related there. So currently we have no data. It should just work. Then now we need a way to add some pagination. We need to build some pagination client for doing this. So there's a way you can npx, I don't know, there's a way you can run Drizzle Studio. So Drizzle Studio is a client that we'll use to show everything. So we have Drizzle kit, then prepare database. Where do we add the drizzles? So how do we open Drizzle Studio overview? Okay. Install Drizzle ORM, Drizzle kit. Oh, okay. With the yarn, copy, paste. So then we can just come to our package.json and add Drizzle db, just call it db view. Then you can just paste this here. So we can yarn db view. So follow link, copy. Come and check it up here. Should be able to work. Should be working. So let's wait for it to load. Yeah. So with this, you can see that we have all the tables listed here. Then with the users, tokens, and login sessions. Then you can just add a record if you so wish. You can just discard those changes for now. So this is also following on the footsteps of Prisma. And you know, Prisma was like the first client to do this. But this one is I think for me it's one of the best. best ORMs I've seen so far. And the nice thing about it is that your schema, you can just expand the way you so wish. So now we have our studio, which is shown here, and this one now gives us the overview of whatever we should see. So we need to set up our client so that we have some pagination. So we'll just build on that. So the pagination part, so let's head over to so what I'll need to add here is to the reusables, I'll add something known as pagination. So in Drizzle, I don't know how they do pagination, but Drizzle pagination. So they use the limit offset. That's okay. Ah, that's nice. It's with the limit offset, very dynamic. User.id. So let's come back here and the pagination, add an index.ts. So this index.ts, what we'll do here is to add pagination. So get pagination from query, which will just export a function which extracts pagination, will extract pagination context. Okay, so this will take in API request, okay, function API request, query. So then what we do here, we get the keys, the possible keys. So it's const we'll have page and limit, page, which will be our page query, so that is page query, and limit query from query. Then the page will need convert to number, which const page, then const limit will have it to be pointing to this. So we have number converter here, then I have here a number util, okay, so common, let's have utils, then numbers .ts, then the pagination also will come here. I'll rename this to pagination, then extract this, put it in here, then remove. So in the pagination, in the numbers, I will need export const convert to number, which will be value, and this can be unknown, then it should return a number. So how do we so we need a helper method here known as function is number, which takes a value of unknown, and notice none, and is finite. Okay? So this just means we don't expect a number, then it must be a finite number. It determines whether the supply number is finite. What does finite mean? Finite. That determines whether the value is finite. First, converting the number to a number necessary. A finite number is one that not none or plus or minus infinity, because coercion inside there is finite can be surprising. You may prefer to use number dot is finite. Okay, so number dot is finite. So if is not a number, then we need to API server exception, not that one. API server exception. Okay, it's API error. API error. Then you just need to pass API status dot bad request. So then have status error. Then just pass anything, invalid number value. So with this in place, we can do our conversion. So if you come to paginator, then you can just convert to number. This one also convert. Convert that to number. So we don't have a default. Then now we need to delete. We need to remove them from the query. And now there can be a bypass. I won't add that. I think maximum should be 100 for now. Then what we need to return page and limit, then offset will be our page minus 1 times the limit that we are having. Then we also pass the offset. So we export type. So pagination params will be, we extract pagination from the return type of this function. So this should be able to give us the pagination details. Then now we can have a paginator, result paginator. So for now, let's just use this. Then we'll also need to add a function here. Function export let's just http response.ts export function create http response. So this will kind of make sure that we have a standard response. So with this standard response, we'll take a type t, which we'll just have it as any for now. Unknown. Then here we'll pass data. Data which will be t. Status code which will be defaulting to http status dot okay. Then we have our message which will also have as success. We'll have a status so type options will be status success error or warning. So then we'll have a message. So then we pass our options. Which will default to status success. I think that is too much. So for any errors, we want to get okay. So we should have a success, create http success response, which there we just need status code and maybe probably message, which will be success. Then now what we return will be status code and data. Then now we can export create http error response, which should also take the same format. Data will be null. Our data will be null. So with this in place, this one won't be necessary. Then now if we come to our paginator, we just fix these issues. I just run yarn format. and lint fix. Query defined but never used. Then we'll need to extend our API pagination params. So we'll need to extend our decorators to make sure that if someone passes if we pass we can pass pagination to the decorator. So in the controller decorator, we have the API and we have the API controller method. So here we can pass something known as paginate. Process pagination. So just have it as paginate. So if we have it as paginate, then what we can do is to we have our target, we have our query. So we need to get pagination. Const pagination will be props.paginate. So if you have paginate passed, then we'll pass where's the pagination function? Extract pagination params. Will extract pagination params. So then we can just have it as null. So pagination will be null. So if pagination is null, so if we pass option for paginate, we process the pagination, and if someone doesn't pass, then now we just return null. Then now in our context, so if pagination, then context dot. So we'll have a pagination. So where is our context? Context should be up here. So this context should have pagination, which is optional. This is just to expand it so that we reprocess so much of this info. Then now if we come here, so context as, so we have context, then we pass the query, then we pass our pagination. So only if pagination is passed is when now we'll do the pagination. So let's test it. Come to here, then we can pass paginate, pass true, then we can log pagination. So let's check here if everything is working. So the backend is still running. Refetch, it works. Then now if we check in our console, you can see we have the pagination object passed. And what if we make it false and try to access it? Still works, but you can see pagination is undefined. So this is how you can, we are really expanding this so that whatever we pass here is really simple, so that we'll just wrap with the decorators and make sure that whatever we are working with is really simplified. So let's try and create a user. So we'll add here create user request dot schema dot ts. Export plus export const create users request schema. Then now this will be z dot object, then export type create user request. So then we can pass the body. I don't know how can we make sure that if we pass, okay, in the request context we can pass the body. So we can pass t body, which will be t any. So then this hello Dancy, welcome everyone. So we need to make this type safe. I'll just extract this because it's resolving to any, so there's not much that it's doing. So that means we can just pass the body here. So if you pass the body there, then now we can go to, if we go to our user, then we create a method for let's say create user user.ts. Then I can just copy this, paste. So this will be get base post controller, then import quick fix, add all missing imports. So this will be create user. So you can see we are getting so here we'll get create user. Is the request, create user request, body, rename to body. So I'll just copy this and add it here, import that. Then now if we go to, we want, this is not paginated and we don't need pagination for this so it's not relevant. I'll change this to post and it should now behave. So pagination, we now don't need it, but if for the body, you can see okay, let's see. Oh, okay, got it. So we check here, there's nothing. So let's say first name, email and password, we have those ones. If now we come to create user, now the body should have this outlined, so this should come about. So then create, how do we now dot user, how do we create client, how do we insert user table, then dot value, okay. Let's see, how do you insert an entry? So how do you insert an entry into, so pass the DB. Okay, I think I'll need to rename some of these tables so that this should just be user. This should be token. Rename this to token. Then login session. Login session. I haven't built the front end. I haven't actually built the the front end yet. So this is just to package the backend. Let me just lint this so that we don't have much issues. So the idea was I just have a function. Let's change this. We have a decorator that gives us the context, and if an error is thrown, apparently the error will be passed and will be caught by this controller method. So it's an abstraction that makes sure that if an error is passed, so if I can demonstrate this with our get, we have get user. So we just add, so we can always nest these things. Dot post, resolve post, create user, create user controller, then it should post the data. So this post method is what exists in here, so we should just resolve that and post. When you post this data, and this one is for getting, on this side we shouldn't be posting anything, so we'll just db.query .user .find many for now. Find many. I don't know whether we have some things here. Do we have something to? We don't have pagination, so we'll figure out how the pagination will work. So if I filter out, if I get the users, you'll see, reload a bit, something is broken. User declared, create user line 12. Okay, so this is for create user. Insert, then we pass user, then values. Let me just have it as any for now. We'll fix that later. So in the get users, you can see if you don't pass any context, we'll have just any body, of which if I extract the body here, it would resolve to any. But if I pass something there, it should be able to work. But let's say I throw an error in here. New error. Let's say not implemented. Then I try to access this page. What's broken again? Oh, base post controller. Missing. Didn't pass everything. Where's the post? Okay. At injectable, so that we are able to inject it as a dependency. So if we come and check back, now it's running. So if I reload this, you can see the error is automatically handled. So I don't know if that's not what you're talking about. Maybe you can add the value to the error message so the user can tell what value is causing the exception. Oh, so in which part do you mean? This is I think for the better part of, so for the body, if now we are going to create a user, we'll need to pass a body schema. So the body schema will be imported from this side, this schema. So that when if we pass this schema, then it should be able to process it before it arrives here, and by then we'll have the clean data, which is not, where is it? There's an issue somewhere. So we are missing so we are missing some fields. So I'll just now start off my postman so that we start building on this. I'll use postman for documenting. I don't like Swagger. Let's just log in, sign in. Sign in with Google. Come back to postman. That instance. So just we're just trying to understand what's going on here. Here we're just simplifying a lot of things here so that we don't have so many try-catch blocks in our application. So you won't use any try-catch block. One context that you might use it is just when now you are using transactions. So if transactions will be there, then we'll try and see how to go about it. But with this, it's kind of simplifying a lot of things that maybe you could have handled manually. So we'll just handle them in the within the decorators themselves. So just always remember that execution of decorators is top down. So whatever you pass on top will affect whatever is below. So we have user Let me just go and see what we have in the user here. There's some values we'll need to autofill. Come to user, create user schema. I'll pass that there. Then ID we won't need. First name, last name, email, gender, username. So export. We had a schema somewhere. Reusable schemas. Then now you can have gender schema. .ts. We can export const gender schema, which will be z from zod dot enum. This should have male, then we have female, then we just have other. Then we can just export this type, gender type, which will be infer that. Then we can reuse this gender schema. Then we can make it have a default to other if it's not passed. When now we go to the schema here and use the gender schema. Then username will be the string z.string. First name z.string. Last name will be string. Email will also be z.string. There's an email validator. So we have password, mean, then is active. We won't need that. Is email verified? No. Last login app? No. Login IP? No. No. You'll only need these ones. Then afterwards we'll spread these values. So last login IP, we'll just have it as empty. Then we'll have is active will be, for now we'll just mark it as true. Is email verified, will make it false. Needs password reset will be false. Then last password reset at just new date. Then last login at new date. Created at not much. Then we'll spread the body. So this should take care of everything. So how do we press any for now. Don't know whether that will do the trick. Then we have dot something returning. So returning insert around return all the fields. So const created user, so our created user, and there are a few things we need to const. We have email, password, and username. I think it's username. So we'll check if const existing user dot find. How do we select? How do we filter? Select from table where? Okay. So db.select select dot from user where or. Okay. How does or behave? Okay. Dot or we pass equal where's the or? There's an example here. Cast.make user dot email dot okay pull down for find execute. So what does execute do? So we check if there's an existing user. Dot find dot count we have. So select from user where either email matches the email or the username. So if existing user dot length, then now we'll need to create API. Okay, we had some HTTP response here. HTTP response, create HTTP error. So here I think I'll need to just new API server, API exception, API error, prepare the message, status code. So we'll take this and pass it over this side. We'll just keep on enhancing it. What will pass will be tp status dot conflict. Then this message will vary based on first. So user, we are checking only two fields. If the email exists with that, then we'll need to throw an error of email already exists or the username. And for the password, we'll need to fix the password. So we'll need to add a function to process our password. So first of all, we'll need to install and add bcrypt.js. Then you'll add fnd add types bcrypt.js. So this will be for our password processing. So in the utils folder, we'll add password.ts. Then we can just export plus password processor. So we'll import injectable. No. This should also be injectable. So at injectable. So that we'll have password hash. Then we also need a way to compare the passwords. So for this, we'll need to import bcrypt from bcrypt.js. Then for processing, we'll need the salt. Then after salting, we'll need to hash. Then we return the hash. Here again, we'll need to just need to compare. So we await otherwise we'll resolve default. So funny thing with the JavaScript, if you return a promise, it's always an object, and with that object it defaults to true, and that it causes issues. So for this password processor, we'll need to create a service. So create user service. Create service. Yes. Yeah. Then export plus create user service. So for these services, maybe I can add a DB instance injector, but for now let's just keep it simple. Let's see, we'll add an injectable, which makes it injectable. Then export. Okay, this will be async create. This will take a body, which will be this body. Will take create user request body. Then we'll extract all these, the logic we have in here. We extract that to our service. Import db. Then we need to just import all the missing. What is left here? This. Back to the service. Paste. And now we can import the equal Drizzle and the or from Drizzle. Then this should be able to create the error, and we'll need to return create success response. We'll pass data which will be created user. Then next we'll need to pass http status.created, then message which will be user created successfully. So once the user has been created successfully, in here I'll just say let, then it should complain, but I need to reassign some things here. Const user password, hashed password will be, we'll need to inject at password at inject. So we'll inject password processor as password processor. Then now we need to call this .password processor .hash, then it should hash our password. Then here we'll need to assign to the body dot password should be hashed password. Then these ones will we'll return them as constants. Then we can just remove what is not used, come to create user, then we'll inject our service, create user service, then I'll just name it as any, then whatever we'll return here will be const feedback, will be await, we'll pass the body but it's not null, so that whatever we get from the feedback, we'll get this data. Then we need a way to clean also, so that some fields are left out. Now we'll just keep it as is. So in here we'll have created, then we'll pass the feedback. So get to post, I don't know what's closing this postman. PB is declared but value never used. So we need to clean all this, remove unused, delete all. Be able to work. Where is this error emanating from? Create user service. No matching bindings. Okay. In the service, we need to add a dependency so that it's resolved. See, now it's working. Also, the password processor. So we need to add dependency. And now it's working. What's happening with Postman? So for the create user, get all users, we were throwing an error here. So we'll just need to create a service here for get users dot service. Yes. Then we just copy this, paste, change this to get users service. We don't need password. and we have get. What we need here is just pagination. API pagination params, which is also optional. Then we'll just delete the rest. So db.select from users. We can have filters, but users dot to select from users dot limit. So this shouldn't be undefined. So as long as we have that, so this should only be there when pagination is passed. But we are the ones building. This is not a library. Oh, okay. So we can add the value to the error message so that what value is causing the exception. So in the convert to number, so for the reason, we'll make it of value and type of value. I think this should be able to do this. So just in case someone passes a wrong value, we'll have that. So let's see, in the get user service, the data will be existing users. Then this one should be okay. Then users retrieved successfully. So from here we can just fix auto fixable and remove all we don't need. So we'll get pagination, get the existing users, then we'll need to inject this on the other side. Service, not inject. So we inject get user service, then in the pagination we await users, and in here we'll pass our users with status code okay. So if we get back to test, okay, read properties of undefined. So let me take a break a bit. I'll be back in a minute. So refresh. Then we'll get to pass pagination. We make pagination true, then now refresh. You can see we get a status code 200 and data is empty. So let's try add a user. Why is Postman not behaving? I don't know. So if to test whether the limit is working, limit, let's say, is equals to 4x. So if I pass 4x, you'll see invalid number value, then reason invalid number value 4x and type string. So what if we pass undefined? So this one is also type string. Okay, now I get why it was wanted to be like that. So in the meta part, we pass that so that the user is able to like know what's causing the issue. Something is wrong with my Postman. Let me remove. Get to this other one. Snap. Install this one. Off. So while Postman is installing, this one is okay now. Postman. We are in Postman. So just need to zoom a bit. The new collection. So for this new collection, I'll name it Payroll System. And we can add a folder which is users. Then you can add in the environments. This one renamed. Booking dev. Booking development. Then we can add a new add an environment here known as payroll dev. Then we'll have base URL which will be pointing to this API v1. It's not a secret, so we don't need to hide anything here. Next is to add get to collections, go to users, add a request to get users. So to get users, we'll need a base URL / users. I send this request, change this environment to payroll, then send view console. Is it 8080 or 8000 or 88? I think I'll just need to settings. To save true, send this request. It's 8080 and why is it sending to 8000? Oh, okay. Working now. So this one is working. Click it. Create. Users, we need to send. This will be a post request. Send. Then you'll see we have first name required. So this is handled by this. The create user, you can see we've passed this schema. If I don't pass that schema, send this request, you'll see illegal arguments of undefined string. So this is something which is coming from Drizzle. But if we need this to be validated, you just pass the body schema and it should be able to process that for you. So if we pass that, then we'll get first name is required. Then the body will make it raw JSON. Then we just take the first name, then add something like Mike, send, get the last name, Juma, send. We'll need an email, mkjuma@gmail.com. Send. We need a username, Juma, send. We need a password, test 1 2 3 4. So send. So you'll see not null value ID. Okay. ID should be auto generated. I don't know why it's not. Where do we? Okay. Let's see how the schema was done. Let me first see what we have. What is ID? So let's say user table dot generate always as identity. Okay. Token table. Same. Login sessions. Same. I don't know whether this will have impact on it. Send. Steam. I'll need to set everything. So let me try. Yarn npx drizzle kit. Okay, so apparently this won't work the way I expect it, so I'll need to reset my schemas. Token, come to user table. I'll disable this part, the relations, the token. So that we have fresh migrations. Something is broken and I think I don't need to migrate new. Generate for user. Let's generate identity. Then we go to tokens. So we'll go to token. Then finally sessions. You can just generate again. So we'll need to reset this DB. Press DB to delete. Is payroll system. Payroll. I have no data to lose, so it will reset. So we can deploy. That should deploy our changes. So if we refresh, Payroll system, we should have the user, your structure, relations, indexes. So this is it. If now we try creating, send, gender, not null. Why is gender not passed? I have no default. So I'm going to pass gender here. So male, send, updated at. Interesting. Yeah. Mm. Where do we do this? Indexes, constraints. Timestamps. I need the timestamps. Timestamps. Drizzle. Created at. Mhm. Okay. Get timestamps. Default now. Default now. Dot unupdated. Is this? You can add the unupdate now equal to it. Grace. Don't say to be able to use update now. Is it date? Okay. One update. This is doing me a lot of it. See. Dot not now. I just need to reset all these things. Coming tired. Login. So login, comment out, comment out. This should be working. Comment this. So let's see. On this. Add. Come back here. Now check if we have oh, we haven't deployed. Payroll system should be working. If you go to the studio, get the studio up and running. Let's see what we have here. The user's view structure. Data that now. Default value. Access. Let's see whether that will. Yep. So we have our user created. Status code 201. And you can see it's working. So we've created our user, and now we can retrieve our users. We can retrieve our users. So I think last login at should be date time, not date. Something to the user table. Date time. Postgres. Postgres. Which time? Okay. This should be nullable. Okay. So we have our user created. We also need a way to clean this user. So needs reset password. We need to remove the deleted at, and if you're fetching any user, you're getting any user, okay, so oh, descending. Created at, created at, created at. What else do we need here? First name, last name, email, gender. First name, last name, email, username, gender. User, gender. Use duplicate. So also is active. Now the is active. This forget users. Send and a get. We should have. Why does it come back as? We need snake case, snake case, snake case. But this shows you that we are able to post data into this. And if we check on users, you'll see we have Mike in Drizzle Studio. And we have tokens and sessions where you can navigate there. Also the login sessions. So I think we're able to post a user and get a user. Where's the post? The create user. What are we returning? Users, and we've retrieved our users. So that confirm it for today, and we'll continue from tomorrow on this series. So just commit and have the code on GitHub so that we have this view. And anything that does not improve, feel free to create an issue. Let me just commit this. So here we just need to update migrations. Create migrations, then commit. Then now add number formatter. Add number formatter. Converter actually. Then so add password hash utility. So here do we have create response utility, HTTP response. So here add table relations. Export schema globally. Then add reusable gender validation schema. In the DB here, inject schema in the controller, make add pagination options and add pagination options and make context body generic. So with that made generic, we'll just make it easy for us to process. Then here we'll add pagination processor option to context on request. Commit. When missing injectable on host controller. And here what we need to do, the package JSON. Here we added bcrypt and bcrypt and Drizzle Studio DB view script. So commit those. So up to this point, we need is the get user service, get all users. So get user fetch using DB client. So commit, then we can add this. So this is a schema. Add get user service for user creation. Then commit that. Then here register create user controller. That sums it up for what we've done today, and I'll just need to add something in the readme here. So view db view db in Prisma Studio, in Drizzle Studio, so that will use the preview. In preview, so update readme. So we can sync up these changes and see where we are now. So everything is up to date, and I think we are moving on well. So next we'll work on other sections. We'll figure out how we are going to handle the auth and the permissions, so that everyone has access to only what they are required to see. So up to there, I think I'll wrap it up for today. So we meet again in the next, probably tomorrow. Thank you all for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. So if there are any recommendations, you can just share along so that we build this together. If there are any questions, I'll be looking at the comment section and we'll try to help. So if you haven't gotten anything, just make sure that you can go through. The updated code is on GitHub, and I have like the commits for whatever's been added and the changes. So we'll continue building along. So thank you all for attending. So let's meet the next session.